Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you today. It gives me immense pleasure to have our next speaker for LinkedIn Local India's third anniversary. My name is Vivek Chadha, and our next guest is Rakesh Godhwani. After taking the plunge from the corporate world in 2008 to follow his passion, the thing which has grown is his collection of pens and notepads, his hunger to read and learn, his love to teach and write, his time with his family and friends, and most important, his happiness and faith. As he says, everything else has decreased, like his bank balance, weight, and stress. He's the founder of School of Meaningful Experiences, an online edtech startup that offers leadership programs for teenagers, teaches full credit courses on communication for leaders and business communication at the PGP and EEP programs of IIM Bangalore and IIM Udaipur, coaches promising startups and senior managers in the industry, gives seminars and talks in corporate events and colleges, reads a story to his kids every night before they sleep, bicycle, do yoga, write, earn a fraction of what he used to, but lives a million times better. He's the author of 4 books so far. His first book, Plunge, was published in July 2011, which is now his podcast as well. His second book, Seek, Finding Your True Calling, was published by Random House India in 2013. He announced his third book in November 2014. It is on a topic that he teaches and research, persuasive communication and charismatic leadership. The name of the book is What to Say and When to Shut Up. His latest book, Public Speaking Kaleidoscope, is his first serious attempt at academic writing and is the literature review chapter of his doctoral thesis. I heartily welcome you, Rakesh, and I thank you for investing your time to join us today. So, Rakesh, what is the impact and learnings from the pandemic, and what is the outlook for 2021 and beyond? What can we hope for?
Thank you for having me, Vivek. And I think it's a great way to start 2021. And this question, I'm actually very optimistic, and I've been a perpetually optimistic person. I look at adversity as a way of progress. Adversities do bring pain, they give inconvenience and heartburns to all of us, including me. And I started School of Meaningful Experiences in 2018, and at the age of 42, not a great age to start entrepreneurship. And I had a fixed deposit which I had kept for my elder son's education. He's writing 12th right now. That's the only saving I had left after leaving the corporate world 12 years ago. And I was at a juncture where I had just finished my PhD, and I had two choices. That one, I can become a full-time academic, which is a very lovely thing to do. But I asked myself that I was part of these large institutions earlier. Would becoming again a tenured professor in some college give me any joy? And the answer was maybe for a short term. But when I went back to my own question, that why did I do a PhD? Why do I teach? And the answer was that I do all this to bring an impact. And at that time, I decided that I can make an impact only by becoming an entrepreneur and starting something on my own, which liberates me from this way of working. And School of Meaningful Experiences was born because that fixed deposit went away. And then came the pandemic. And April 2019, I was about to start 5 centers in India. The first one was Bangalore, which was running. And we had made all the investments. We were lining up the team members. 16th March, the nation locked down. And we were about to travel in those cities, start our operations. So we had spent a reasonable amount of that fixed deposit into this plan. And within 15 days, everything is gone. So on 4th of April, when I woke up, I'm like, oh God, I think I had this much of a fixed deposit. Out of this much is gone. So I'm left with very little. And but I think that gave me the focus that hey, I have to move forward. And within about few days, I and my team quickly figured out the entire online model, started our programs online, started to survive and float. Fortunately, we got our angel investors who betted on us. And we have really seen a tremendous change in the way we operate ourselves. So, if that adversity wouldn't have come, I would have been in a very, very different situation. And I think I'm very grateful for what happened. That it does cause heartburn. A lot of friends may fall sick. I have two friends who died because of COVID-19. Inevitable, this is life. But when you look at progress, progress will only come when you have to go through an adversity. And there is a very nice uh, Hindi vakya which I read. My teacher taught me when I was studying in my high school. Uh, the Hindi vakya says, "विनाश के भय से कभी नहीं रुकता निर्माण का सुख." So I think the pandemic was a vinash, but I think everybody should have this attitude that, hey, I'm going to create something and I'm not going to be bothered, and I will find a way to survive, and I will push this innovative thought process. And I've been given a good brain, an intelligent system. I'm a human being. I think that's what I want all of us to focus on. And I want to paint a very beautiful picture of the 21st century and beyond for all of you listening to this podcast or this series. First of all, the entire earth will become a lot more populated. Not a very great news, but then there will be a lot of people, and everybody is thriving. So we will be about 10 billion in the next 30, 35 years, maybe 40 years or so. And that means there would be a lot of people, a lot of mouths to feed, lots of schools to educate them, lots of industries to satisfy their needs. So there's going to be a growth. That growth will have its own repercussion, but there is a growth. The second number is that according to the latest trends in life expectancy, healthcare, technology, human beings will touch the dawn of 22nd century. You and I mean, we can always die any second, but if I were to just look at statistics, we will go to about 2090, 2099, maybe 2200 or 2100. That day has come, and our children will definitely cross. And my reaction to that is that we may have a terrible life, but we live. And the doctors and the technocrats will make sure we live, because insurance also grows and hospitals also earn. So, my second number for all of you is 100, that the generation today will touch 100 years. The third number I want to give you is 70, that if life expectancy is going to be about 100 years, all of us can work for about 70 years. And if you look at the way education system was designed, it was designed for about 20, 25, 30 years. And people retired at 58 and 60. That those days are gone. I think when a graduate comes out of a school at 22 years of age, that young person has 65 to 70 years to do whatever she or he wants. And I find that fascinating. And in that 65 to 70 years, this person, this boy or a girl, can change their careers at least 5 times. So they could come out with a law degree, and after 10 years, they could study medicine. Then they could study bungee jumping. Then they could do acting. Then they could be a rock star. Then they could go on Himalayas for 5, 6 years and meditate. Then they could come back and again start a venture which could change lives. I think it's a fascinating scenario. And the last is that in the next 15 years, there will be three localities where human beings will live. Earth, anyway, is one of them. And then there's going to be Mars and there's going to be Moon. And this is the future, which has already happened. Things are beginning. We may not know it, but there's a lot of progress happening. And in this scenario, education will change, because the education of yesterday is not satisfying the education needs of today. And in this 21st century, which is changing so fast, I think edtech, new technologies, new concepts, the ability to create schools that don't focus on creating a student who's very good in cracking exams, but a student who is a lot more confident, a lot more expressive, a lot more curious, a lot more creative, a lot more collaborative. and a lot more competent. And the focus will shift from cracking exams to learning how to learn. And that's what at least we do at School of Meaningful Experiences, and we are working and collaborating with everyone else to prepare our children and our fellow colleagues for the 21st century. So it's an exciting time for everyone listening to this talk, and I think it's not doomsday yet. There will always be some slivers of hope, and I think you should focus on that.
Sure, wonderful thoughts, Rakesh. I think very enlightening and lovely to hear you. So, you call yourself a nobody, and it has been very intriguing for many people. I want you to throw some light on that, and thereafter, I also want you to talk about this beautiful entrepreneurship journey that you have started with SOME, and what has been your experience. What are you doing? Please tell our audience, and yeah, over to you.
Yeah, I get that question a lot, and I believe in that title, nobody. That while I'm the founder, chairman, CEO of School of Meaningful Experiences, these are designations. I'm an adjunct faculty at IIM Bangalore, IIM Udaipur. Again, it's a role I'm playing. They don't define me. And this is one request I have for all of you out there, that don't take these degrees to your heart. They're just pieces of paper, and you are much more than these pieces of paper. So when I see people in their LinkedIn designation, they first of all throw their all college names, then all the companies, X this, X that. Some people even say that I am the of the various. That to me, these are signs of low self-esteem. That if you are going to find confidence in coming first in the class, that is not the right way of thinking. And our education system has created this problem for all of us, that we have great marks but no confidence. So my request is that don't depend a lot on these titles and degrees, because you as an individual is much more capable, and you should liberate yourself from these fixed designations. And I call myself a nobody because I do so many things that it is just impossible for me to convey in one word or one line who I am. And after a point, I have no desire of becoming a part of a system and taking a title and doing what that system wants me to do. And this happened because when I left the corporate world in 2008, I had a friend who used to run a college. And that person wanted me to come and teach, not because I was Rakesh, but because I was a very senior manager in Qualcomm. So he wanted to put in his website that one Qualcomm guy is coming and teaching, because it helps in placements. I didn't know all this. So I went there after resigning, and he's like, "Oh, you are no more in Qualcomm?" I'm like, "No." So he's like, "Okay, okay, we'll talk next year." And that's what hit me, that my identity was my Qualcomm, Intel, IIM Bangalore. And that day I decided that I'm going to just delete these things from my identity. I'll create my own identity. I don't care about these things. And I talk about these things in School of Meaningful Experiences, that what is important is you should have faith in yourself. You should have the courage to do what you want, and you should now create an identity based on that. And I'll take few seconds to extend this to a lovely movie called Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is a fascinating philosophical concept. That the philosophical concept is that that superpower of throwing nets and is not really a great thing. That's a skill. You need skills. But the most important part of Spider-Man is the leap of faith, the ability to jump, and knowing that this device may not work. And I think the students of today and all of the executives, everyone should have this, that your degrees are the skills. They don't guarantee anything. What you need is this courage that I can do it, and the leap of faith to do something. And at 42, when I started School of Meaningful Experiences, one of the things I wanted to demonstrate to my own students was walk the talk. That if I have to teach someone leap of faith, I have to also perform and demonstrate the leap of faith and communicate and be collaborative. And that's what we do at School of Meaningful Experiences. So the only thing we focus at SOME is that I see a big problem in education, that we focus too much on marks and math and scientific concepts based on marks. But what I think 21st century needs is a person who can go inside a room, confidently express and connect with people, not bothered about what you are, how old you are, or what your designation is, and get the work done. So that's what we teach, and we call it the 6C philosophy. And we have programs that I encourage all of you to check out our website and talk to us.
Wonderful philosophy, Rakesh, there. And I hope millions of people join SOME and you have a thriving 2021. Thank you so much for coming here, sharing your thoughts, sparing time. And it was lovely talking to you, and we'll see you around.
Thank you very much, Vivek.
Please take care. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.